Hey guys, Lucky here, and today we're going to go over the top 5 best power leveling spots in Elder Scrolls Online. These spots will get you to max level faster than any other spots in the game. In fact, an experienced player using these spots can get to max level in under a couple of hours. I'm also going to sort these spots into 2 groups. The first group will be things that you can do solo, and the second group will be the places that give a little more experience but are best done with a partner. I will also go over what buffs you can take advantage of to get more experience while you level. So let's dive in. The first one is most easily one of the most popular spots in the game to power level. It is by no means the fastest, but it's definitely the easiest. This spot is the Domain in the Alakir Desert. This is the Netflix and chill.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Of experience grinding. No, literally, you can do this while your character is literally naked and while you watch TV. This is the appeal of power leveling with the Domain in Alakir. Because it's such a popular leveling spot, there's always a large crowd running the Domain in Alakir Desert and killing the mobs for you. It's worth mentioning that you get a small XP bonus when you're in a group. If you're on the NA server, just type X into chat and then enter that, and then type Y into chat and then enter that, and then press Z and enter that into chat as well. Someone will usually have an add-on running that will automatically invite people into their group that type those letters into the zone chat. So just type those things in zone chat and you'll probably find a group right away. On the EU server, the same thing happens, but the thing you type is plus Domain, and someone's add-on will automatically invite you to their group. The more enemies that you touch while you're running Domain, the better XP you'll get, because you'll get a little bit of XP for each thing that dies. Plus, you'll get fighter skilled XP. Not just a little bit of fighter skilled XP, but a ton of fighter skilled XP, which is one of the best reasons to run the Domain in Alakir Desert. It's a great way to power level your fighter skill. No matter the leveling method I choose, I usually start the first 10 levels in the Domain of Alakir Desert because it's so easy. You can do it without having any abilities or passives unlocked, and it levels up your fighter skill, which is incredibly important because the fighter skill has some really powerful passives inside. It also helps you quickly unlock your first few abilities and class passives to make all the other leveling spots much more manageable. Interestingly, the bulk of your experience you get from the Domain isn't actually from killing the enemies, it's from breaking the anchor. So feel free to simply touch one mob and then wait for the next Domain. You will see yourself get a pop of experience when the anchor shuts down and you open the chest at the end. There are 3 anchors or Domain denoted by this hurricane-like symbol, and they will be being cleared in either a clockwise or counterclockwise direction on the map. So when you clear one, teleport to the next one, and so on. Just as you're seeing me do in this video, it's that easy. Literally just be half present mentally, touch one mob, and then head to the next one and repeat. The rest of these methods will require more effort, but they'll also reward you more experience. One of the great things about Domain in Alakir Desert is that they're so relaxing you can do other things at the same time, like play Raid Shadow Legends on your phone, who happens to be the sponsor of today's video. What are the top 3 reasons to play Raid Shadow Legends? I'm glad you asked. Raid Shadow Legends is actually a crazy polished game. Plarium has invested an insane amount of money into making Raid Shadow Legends one of the most complete mobile games of all time. Number 2, no matter what your favorite game is, there's always downtime where it's just you and your phone, and now that downtime is something you can look forward to. Number 3, Raid has tons of different content like dungeons and towers. There's something for everyone. Now, new players can enjoy a special Valentine's Day themed adventure with the Raid Love Quest. All you need to get involved is download Raid Shadow Legends from the links below, or copy your in-game player ID and then head to raidlovequest.plarium.com. There, enter your player ID and set out on this heartfelt quest running from February 14th to March 14th. Play one of the Valentine's themed minigames for a chance to win Valentine's Day themed Raid champions and even Amazon gift cards worth $1,000. If you're an old Raid player, you can still share the love too. Use special promo code SaintValentine23 that everyone can use to get a small Valentine's gift from us to you. Raid's got a ton of cool events to jump into this month. There's Forge Pass 7, more events where you can earn anniversary points as part of the 3-month-long 4th anniversary Titan event, and more. And if you haven't started playing Raid yet, click my link in the description or scan my QR code here on screen. You'll get unique bonuses worth $35, including free epic champion Jotun and other useful stuff. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to the video. The next solo leveling spot I recommend is zombies. There are a lot of places you can farm zombies in the Elder Scrolls Online, and they can be an effective way to level as it's easy to round them up into large groups and then knock them down. The downside of zombie farms is that they're overland content, which means anybody in the game could grab that spot and you wouldn't really be able to use it as a result. If you try to compete for the same spot with somebody else, you're both going to get bad experience. So if that happens, I would move on to another one of these leveling methods. My favorite zombie spots are in the Rift and in Alakir Desert. In the Rift, you're going to teleport to the Full Helm Fort Wayshrine and then follow the path north up to the zombie form there. These zombies respawn on a very quick timer, so just go back and forth killing them between the tents and knocking them down, and rinse and repeat. The next spot is in the docks in Alakir Desert. Just run around the docks, grouping up the zombies and then knocking them down. These types of spots exist all over the game, but they can be hard to secure when there's a lot of people online during prime time. The next spot gives some of the best experience in the game, but can be a little more difficult for brand new players. If you're making an alt and already have some champion points, you can come here pretty early with a decent set of leveling gear for bigger XP gains. This place is called Spellscar, and the strategy is to try and find about 3 groups of mobs, stand in the middle of all of them, and then pull them to you and knock them down. If you try and pull these mobs too far, they'll reset and run away, which is why it's important to stand between the 3 packs and pull them to you and then kill them all there. Once you do that, run to the next area where you can grab 3 more packs and knock them down again, and just go back and forth between those spawns. As with everything in Craglorn, these guys are a little tougher than the average mob. That's because Craglorn used to be the endgame zone back before there were any expansions and before ZOS changed the game so that all the zones were the same level. So if you've ever been to Craglorn and it feels harder than your average zone, that's why. Alright, now let's dive into the group leveling spots. But if you're a solo player, don't be scared away from these spots because it can be very easy to find a partner for this, as there's always people running this type of content. And one of these spots is the absolute fastest way to level in the game right now. The first spot that I'll tell you about is called Skyreach Catacombs. The great thing about Skyreach is that it's instance, so you don't need to compete with other players for mobs like you do at the other spots I've talked about. The bad thing is that it's not a great spot if you don't have another person in your group. Fortunately, there are always people standing right outside the door looking for a group. Simply just ask them to join your group until someone accepts and then start running the catacombs over and over. Now, the reason you need a group isn't because the mobs inside are hard. It's actually a weird technicality about the game. You see, instance content in ESO will naturally wait 5 minutes to reset once you have left it. But if you had to wait 5 minutes between every one of your runs,
5 minutes later,
it would destroy your efficiency. How do we get around this? Well, the instance is tied to your group. So if you make a new group, you get a new instance, even if you're making a new group with the same person you made the last group with. Amazing. So what we do is invite someone to our group, run through the instance as I'm about to tell you how, and then disband the party. Disbanding the party will alert you that your instance is being closed and you're going to be kicked out. Invite that person back into your group while you're waiting to be kicked out, and then walk back in the door as soon as you spawn outside. And voila, you have a fresh instance full of mobs again and no downtime. Plus, you get a small XP bonus for being in a group. You get optimal experience with 2 people in the group, so try not to have more than that. Now for the route that you're going to take through Skyreach. What you're going to do is spawn in and run through the first room, grabbing all of the mobs. Then head right into the next series of hallways, eventually stopping at the base of these stairs to kill all the mobs that are following you. Once they are all dead, sneak by these guys on the right. They give very little experience and they take forever to kill, so they're not worth it. You'll continue sneaking past these sleeping mobs and into the room with the chest. Open the chests and round up all the mobs in the room as you see me doing here. I'm going to grab both sets of mobs on either side of the room, and then I'm going to throw some AoE damage under the fires in the corners to wake those mobs up and get them running to me. Then I'll kill the massive amount of mobs that keep spawning as I kill each wave. After this, just follow the left wall, waking up every enemy you run by so that they follow you to the base of the second set of stairs, almost back where you started. Group everything up and kill it. After this, when you kick the person from your group and instantly re-invite them, you'll both spawn in front of the door and just walk back in to repeat the process. It's worth noting that the first room that you enter has a ton of bookshelves, and if you read those, it's going to level up a lot of your abilities on your new character. So if you want to, you could stop and read those bookshelves after every run for kicking the person out of your group and starting over. It will slow down your leveling process, but it will increase the speed at which you level up a lot of your other things in the game. Now for the fastest leveling spot in the game, Black Rose Prison. Now Black Rose Prison is normally a series of 4-man arenas. Each arena has multiple waves of enemies that spawn before spawning a final wave, which includes a boss. Just like Skyreach, you'll want one partner for this, and you'll want to do this on normal difficulty. This place might be a little difficult if you come here without experience or gear, but once you get comfortable with the game, there is no faster experience to be found, and you can get to max level in under 2 hours. There's a bit of strategy to this place as well. Even though there are multiple arenas in here, we are only going to do the first easy arena and kill the waves that spawn until the boss spawns. When the boss spawns, that's our cue to leave. So once the boss spawns, you just open the party menu and then leave the instance. On PC, you can do this by pressing P, then by pressing T, and this kicks you out of the instance. Once both you and your partner are outside of the instance, open the party menu, change the difficulty to veteran, then back to normal difficulty. This will reset your group's normal version of the arena so that you can go back inside and do it all over again. Walk back in and repeat. So these are the 5 best leveling spots in the game, but how do you maximize your efficiency? Well, there are 3 ways to increase the amount of experience you get from everything you do. The first is to use experience scrolls or potions. You can have 1 scroll or 1 potion active at a time. They come in 3 different tiers: 50% increase XP, 100%, and 150% increase XP. You cannot stack a scroll and a potion together, so you have to pick one or the other. The 150% XP potions are insanely expensive. I don't even bother with them when I'm leveling my alts. We will have plenty of increased experience from everything else that we're doing. The scrolls are usually given to you as login rewards, and the potions are crafted by players and can be purchased from guild traders. Next, we have the training trait that you can put on your gear. You can put this trait on all of the body pieces as well as the weapon, which means that you can get up to 96% increased experience this way. Be aware that the traits give more experience the higher the quality gear. So blue will give less experience than purple. Purple will give less experience than gold. Since you're not going to use your training gear for very long, it's usually pretty low level stuff that you outlevel very fast. I wouldn't take it higher than purple. There's no reason to take it all the way to gold unless you just have gold to burn. Finally, we can take advantage of events. About once every quarter, ESO has a double experience event in which you get double experience the entire time that event is active. These events are great times to create alts because you are getting a free 100% increased experience for the whole duration. And yes, this bonus experience from the event does stack with your consumable potion or scroll buff and your training trait on your gear, which means these 3 things can add up together to around 346 bonus experience. Now, even if you don't have access to these bonus experience items or can't afford them, that's okay. You will still level incredibly fast without them using the 5 spots I showed you today. One last thing to mention is that it's definitely worth doing your random daily dungeon. This can give you up to 100,000 bonus experience upon your first completion of the day. Do not sleep on this one. You can start doing these at level 10 and you get more experience for it the higher level you are. Don't be scared, they're very easy. It's likely one person in your group could solo the whole dungeon by themselves, so just try to keep up and help them kill things the best that you can. Before you know it, you'll be the person destroying everything in the dungeon for the other people. There's also a daily battleground that you can queue up for if you enjoy PvP. This one does have one contingency though. You and your team must place in either first or second place. Considering there are only 3 teams in the battlegrounds, that means you just can't get last. It's more than likely you'll get it on the first try, but sometimes you can have some bad luck here and there, and it may take a few tries. Now, before you start doing any of this, I have something huge to recommend. Definitely check out my video guide linked in the description below. It's my level 1 to 300 step-by-step leveling guide, and it'll tell you all of the places to teleport to really quickly right when you create your character to pick up all of your guilds, your companions, and any other excellent features that you want to have access to at level 1. This is the most popular ESO leveling guide on the internet, and for good reason, so take advantage of it. The great thing about grabbing these things right away is that they will level passively when you power level your character. Killing the right mobs will level the Fighter's Guild, but only if you have joined the Fighter's Guild, for example. So it's incredibly useful to follow the first 10 minutes or so of that leveling guide, grab all your useful skill lines and everything that's been added to the game over the years, and then start power leveling your character. And it will simultaneously allow you to level those guilds and companions. Otherwise, if you don't do that, your character is going to be max level, and then you're going to have to go back and level all those guilds from level 1 all over again, making you do the grind a second time. So take advantage of that. Links down in the description below. Also, power leveling is much easier if you have the right build. So make sure to grab one of my solo builds from this channel. These are all perfectly built to power level your character in ESO. They are tanky, self-healing, and have massive damage, letting you round up ridiculous groups of mobs and then knock them down. These are the same builds I use when I power level my characters. They all have complete written guides to accompany them, so you can easily see what gear you need and where it drops simply by hovering over the gear on the website. It also tells you what skills you need and where to find those skills in the menus. You won't find a more convenient resource, and we keep it up to date every single patch. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe for more ESO videos. A massive shout out to my YouTube members for helping me make the best content I can. To become a YouTube member, click the link in the description below and gain access to behind the scenes footage and a private Discord channel and more. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and if you're not sure what to do next, check out one of the videos popping up on the screen right now.